Hello everyone. It is a bright, sunny, clear, cold day, about 36 degrees here on December 7th, 2020. It's supposed to be a high of 42. This weather is supposed to keep up like this for 2 weeks at least, if not longer. I heard a weather lady say the other night when I was listening to Christmas music, before she introduced another Christmas song, she said, well, it looks like we're going to have bright, clear, sunny skies and cold for the next 2 weeks at least, if not longer. No precipitation, no snow, nothing in the future, at least for 2 weeks. And then she introduced the song White Christmas and said, sorry, Bing, no snow. So I thought that was kind of cute, but this is unusual for this time of year. But I'll take it. What I like about it is it's clear and it's pretty. I can see all the mountains and everything. After we start getting around here in Utah, since we're surrounded by mountains, like a circle of mountains around the main part of the city, Salt Lake and Provo area, after we get a few snowstorms, it's pretty at first after the snow stops and it clears up. But after we get a few snowstorms, we get an inversion layer and it settles in because it's cold and the cold air stays like pressed down on us. So we get smog and like days when you can't see the mountains, mostly in January and February, which is odd. People who live in Southern California go, well, that's strange because we get smog in the summer mostly. So the rest of the year is always so beautiful here, but once we get a few snowstorms, it sets up a cold inversion, which pushes the smog down into the valleys. So I still am looking forward to the fact of no snow, mostly for that. Not so much for the other things where people don't want to drive in it, they don't want to clean it up or whatever. I just don't want it because after a few good snowstorms, we get the inversion. So I'm happy with this and would love to have it stay this way for a while longer, actually. I'm Colette, I'm the Highway Stitcher. Took a little while to get to that. Sorry about that. I'm coming to you on December 7th, sometimes from on the highway and sometimes from at home, but for the next foreseeable future, it will be at home, as we all know. I have life update at the end that I'll talk about, and if you want to stay, otherwise I'm going to go on to my stitching right now and you can see what I've been up to. I had a video about a little over a week ago, so like I was telling you last week, I wanted to try to keep up my videos so that the videos wouldn't be so long. So I'm pretty excited now. I'll go on to my stitching. Oh, and this video, my floss tube is mostly about stitching. Just to let you know who are new. I do have some bobbin lace. I've had a couple of inquiries about bobbin lace, and I will try to pull out some of my bobbin lace on one of my next videos when things might not be quite as crazy as they are right now. I do love bobbin lace. I also like to sew, to quilt, knitting and crocheting. Beading, lots of different things. So I'm even doing some diamond painting right now, which I showed last week. So whatever I'm doing during the week, and if I can keep up on this, I will show you what I'm working on, whatever it is. But today it will be just stitching only. I'm pretty excited. I have two finished objects, two FOs. First one is the Linen and Threads Family and Friends Mystery Sal, which Linen and Threads does every year. It's free. You can go to the Linen and Threads website and download the monthly part of the pattern every month. And I'm grateful to Linen and Threads and the people there who are so gracious and generous to do this. So this is this year's finish. In December, we had one area a month, and now I'm finished. So here she is. And the area that we had for the December stitch to finish it up is right there. It's that star with the flowers around it. and then this motif up here. So I'm really excited. I just love the Family and Friends sale. I mean, I just love linen and thread sales that they have every year. I've participated in a couple years now, not every year, but you know, I've been able to participate in a couple. So anyway, this was stitched, since I'm done, on 32 count Fox and Rabbit Lyrebird Dell. Real pretty green blue color. And the threads that I used were Cottage Garden Larkspur, which is a variegated yellow, pink, and purple. I mean, yellow, pink, and green. Kind of picks up the green on this. So that's my FO of the Linen and Thread sale. I'm looking forward to next year's. He already has made a mention as to a code word as to what it's going to be like. I haven't had a chance to look up that word yet and see what we might be looking forward to, but I'm really excited. I enjoy this sale, and I'm for sure going to participate in it next year. Okay, my other FO. Okay, last night I posted an Instagram that this was a first finish and not a secondus finish. If any of you are familiar with Hobbits and one of the sayings saying 11sies and afternoon tea and first breakfast and second breakfast, whatever, I was just using my, I was just thinking about that when I posted the picture of this, because this is a first finish and the second finish will have to be worked on starting now, because I didn't do it along the way. And a little bit of it I did, but not all of it. So I have to go back to back stitching. But I'm pretty happy because the main part of this is finished. As you can see up there in the corner, I did a little bit, that corner, I did a little bit of the back stitching. So that's what it's going to be throughout the whole piece. There's going to be some back stitching in it. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to go back and start working on that to get it seconded finished. But this is my first finish, and I still call it an FO. I was able to finish up the bottom line there and bottom row with the 2 boxes. That was all I had left. And this is being stitched on 28 count Picture This Plus Serene, which is kind of a lighter mint green. And the floss was Threadworx Teal We Meet Again. And you can see it's like darker, lighter shades of a teal green. So I'm pretty excited about that. Another FO. These were both this one and the Linen and Threads. I pushed at getting them both done so I could, like in the first week, so I could get back to you and show you the pictures and then move on to some other pieces that I want to either finish in this month if I can, or make more significant work on them. So anyway, I am going to move on to my whips. And with my whips, I'm still working. I still have an addiction on prompts, challenge prompts. This last week, my main challenge prompt was through Enchanted Stitches. They're using the movie this year, the Disney movie, this month in December, of Beauty and the Beast, which is a favorite of mine. So I'm participating in the prompts for this month. So last week's prompts, I'll mention to you what they were. One of them was actually a penalty stitch, meaning I didn't have anything for it. There was supposed to be sheep on the pattern. And I actually do have a couple patterns with sheep on them, but I just opted to do the penalty stitches because I wanted to finish linen threads, the linen thread cell. So that's what I worked on for my penalty stitches for that one prompt. Now I'm on to my whips, so I'll show you what I did this week. This is Mayflower, Coming to America, the Women of the Mayflower. I just grabbed it. The reason why it's out of its Q-snaps is because I had to take a picture of it to show what I did for the prompt, the challenge prompt, and I had to take it off to show what it was. So the one for this last week was a prompt that tells a story So of course Mayflower does tell a story of coming to America, so that was easy. So I did my stitches on that. And I did 213 stitches, and only thing I worked on, due to concentrating on my 2 FOs, was that last row of the names of some of the one name and partial name of some of the women who came to the Mayflower. So you can see that. I think that's Abigail. Let's know what Abigail's. Alice Rigdale and Rose Stan, which will be, when the next line goes, it'll be Standish. So that's what I accomplished with Mayflower this week. I also worked on Maleficent, my full coverage pattern. Oh, I didn't mention on Mayflower. I'm sorry, in case you are new. This is being worked on. I got this as a kit through Shepherd's Bush. They usually, when they do special, when designers do a special project, they sell it as a kit, or the store does. So this one was a kit of vintage, 40 count vintage country Mocha, like art. And it was with the called for, in some cases DMC, and in some cases Overdyeds that they had for it in the kit. And I am stitching this one strand of floss over 1 fabric thread. Okay, now on to Maleficent. Last week I took her out of the top part of the Q-snaps. I'm not going to do that this week. There's actually about this much more done. Mostly just background. I may take it out again some other time. But anyway, I think you can see her fine here. This is Maleficent. This is Heaven and Earth. Storykeep Maleficent. The reason why it's called Storykeep is it's a mini version of Maleficent. They do have a large version of this. I did 210 stitches for her for a challenge prompt for Enchanted Stitches. And actually, the challenge prompt was to work on something that was full coverage. So it was very easy for me to pick this up and work on it. I could have picked this up or any of mine, but I decided I wanted to put a few more stitches into Maleficent here to add to her beauty. Anyway, what I worked on for that 213 stitches was pretty much this area here. I started down the diagonal, filled in that light and this darker, and then way down here I had a section of the lighter blue I had not filled in. And then there was a little bit here of a dark purple blue that was a different color than the rest of her black cape. I also filled that in for my total. So here she is a little bit stitched more. I stitched this on 25 count, gridded even weave, 1 floss over 1 strand of linen, or even weave. Sometimes all this stuff is so hard to say. Sometimes I think I'm really glad that I'm doing a floss tube, because then it helps me to remember things and get my words right and everything else. I think it just pushes me. It's part of the reason why I keep doing floss tubes, because sometimes I feel like, what was that? What was I supposed to say? So anyway, excuse me for that. And if you excuse me for it, I appreciate it. And if not, you can either go on to somebody else or just roll your eyes and say that's Colette. So anyway, that's Maleficent. So got a few strands into her for a prompt. I also have 2 new starts this week that I did work on a little. They weren't for any prompts, but I did work on them. Oh, my 4th prompt for Enchanted Stitches was actually St. George's, the other FO, the Long Dog Sampler. And that was for something odd that people think is odd that you stitch, which some of my family thought that St. George's was kind of odd. I mean, they thought it was just weird, so I just went, okay, fine. That was easy. I picked that for my other prompt. Anyway, on to new starts. Let me see. I'm going to show you first the one that I told you last week that I was going to start. It is a retreat kit that we received for a virtual retreat in October, November. Again, I'm not remembering exactly, but I think it was in October. We had a Pacific Northwest Stitchers Summit, which was sponsored by Acorn and Threads, and I appreciate them doing that. And they had to go virtual. And in doing so, they had two designers who were going to design pieces for us and come talk to us. And one of the designers was Heartstring Samplery, which is Beth Twist. The other designer was Plum Street. And both of them did patterns for us. Well, when we ended up going virtual, they came up with the idea of calling our retreat a different name than what we were going to call it. And so we ended up calling it Until We Meet Again. And that's what we hope for, to meet at with face-to-face, not virtually. So anyway, I'm starting to work on Beth Twist Until We Meet Again piece. She graciously had two pieces for us, and this is the bigger piece. And it is being stitched on graham cracker by Kitten Stitcher, and the threads are Weeks Dye Works threads. That was all part of the kit. The graham cracker is a real pretty kind of gray brown. Maybe I'll go like this and you can see it just a little better than, because the light was showing through it. It wasn't showing as good. I'm stitching this on 32 count, as I said, graham cracker crust, with the called for threads that came in the kit. The only change I am doing, and I will have to buy more thread for this, but for 32 I much prefer two threads, two floss threads over two threads of linen. So that is what I am doing in this piece, instead of what it was called for. They were calling in the pattern to do one strand of floss over one thread. And I think, let me see if I got the number. I don't have the number down here, but I think I did about 200 stitches. Start of one of the flowers. And before I put it down, I will show you what the piece will look like. Here it is. So there's the one little flower that I've started. I started in the middle this time, just to make sure with the amount that was given us that it will be enough to have for my borders. And the bottom says, "May your dreams come true from now until we meet again." And these are flowers from Beth's garden and butterflies. So, such a pretty pattern. So that was my new start that I was planning on doing. But then I remembered something else that I had done virtually. In October also, there was a virtual retreat that was called Friend Stitch. And it was put on by Heart and Hand, my two designers, Heart and Hand and Bent Creek. It was all done virtually, and anyone could sign up for it up to a certain amount. So it wasn't like the Pacific Northwest Summit, where a lot of people were just from the Northwest, and then there were a few from other areas of the country. So these were people all over the States, I think all over the world. And they decided to theme theirs in Christmas. And here were the patterns they collaborated on. The Gift of Peace is their theme. They gave us one piece of fabric where we could, if we wanted, to do it together, put it together, or we could cut it and do it in two separate patterns. I opted to cut mine. I'm going to do it in two pieces. And because this was a Christmas and everybody was getting into Christmas, I decided, I got kind of in the Christmas spirit for a few days anyway, and opted to start a Christmas piece. And I thought, well, heck, this piece here is a retreat piece. Nobody else has it, so I might as well work on a retreat piece until it becomes available for other people. So this is what I've done so far, which isn't much. It's about 120 stitches or something. And as you know from the picture, that is just these couple letters, 3 letters right here in the middle. I again started in the middle because of a retreat piece and kit fabric. I wanted to make sure that I had enough and enough for the borders. So anyway, that's my start on the gifted piece. Again, this is one that will look better this way. This is being stitched on 32 count platinum Zweigart, real pretty gray color. And the threads, that was in the kit, and the threads are pretty much, let me see, I think mostly Threadworx. So. And I am doing this, since this is 32 count, I'm using 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. Again, my preferred for 32 count. Okay. I did tell you last week that I would try to tell you some of my birthday acquisitions along the way so that I could, you know, give you an idea of what I got for my birthday, since it was quite a bit. So I think what I'll show you first is Needlecraft Corner. Dream at Needlecraft Corner, which is back east. I'll give the link below. I believe it's in Maryland. I did some Fabric of the Month with her a few years ago, and she started sending me every month, just before my birthday month in October, a coupon to get patterns, fabric, and other things on sale for my birthday. So I've always taken advantage of that, and I appreciate her. So excuse me for a second. I will go down here and get the discount stuff that I ordered from Dream at Needlecraft Corner. I don't have a lot of R&R fabric, so one of the things I did was order some R&R from her. Now, there wasn't available everything that I wanted, and I was only really money-wise going to get one piece. But I got a half a yard of 32 count Nantucket Brew, which is a pretty classic color of R&R, and one that you know, a lot of people use for their pieces. And I really like this. I would have picked up, there was another piece that I was looking for, and I don't remember it now because that was a month and a half ago, but Dreama didn't have it in any count. So I just opted to get Nantucket Brew. So that is my fabric that I got. And then I also got some patterns. I did get some floss that I needed to add, but I wasn't going to show that because it was just pieces of Gentle Arts and others that I needed to, that I was running out of. So it wasn't really, it was just stuff that I was going to get anyway. Okay, some of the patterns that I got is kind of an eclectic mix, which is what I like. I got this Rosewood Manor Celtic Knot Challenge. Some people say Celtic, some people say Celtic. Anyway, I have Welsh in my background as well as Irish, and so I do love the symbols that they use in a lot of these designs, you know, for welcome pieces and that. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, look at all those knots. I just love that. So I couldn't pass that up. So I went and got that. I ordered that. I'm not going to take this out of the plastic now, but you'll be able to see it. Little House Needleworks had this out just as separate pieces to stitch, and then they put it all together. So it's months of the year And I really liked this. When I saw it all together as one piece, I want to stitch it as one piece. Love these little patterns in here. So that's something that I had to pick up too, that she had. She had some ORETM patterns, so I was happy about that. I've been wanting to get Aurora, which is one of the newer ones. Those of you who know ORETM patterns, she does Quaker motifs and uses them like for she uses her real creativity to put them with movies. And this one, of course, being Aurora, is for Sleeping Beauty. And so you can see the spinning wheel up there, the little baby carrier for you know, Sleeping Beauty, you know, just all the different parts, which are all for the Sleeping Beauty movie, and beautiful Quaker motifs. So I got that pattern. I also got the first two patterns of Hello by Liz Matthew, her Christmas, first day of Christmas and second day of Christmas. Love these patterns. I don't think I'm going to do them as a tree. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this other thing either, because they're a little big for it, but I just had visions of how beautiful it would be in one big huge piece, but not sure on that. But that's the first one, and this is the second one. Also, and then for the last piece, I also got this Songs of the Season by Prairie Schooler. It was a one that I always liked and just didn't have. So the different songs in Christmas songs. Okay, I don't want this to be too much longer, so I will. Oh, I got a fabric of the month, so I better show you that. I have everything down here on the floor with pieces of paper on top of it to know where it came from and to show it. And I forgot that I just stuck this fabric of the month down there, and that is not a birthday gift. Okay, Fortnight Fabrics sent me the new fabric of the month, which is called Mum. Pretty lavender color. So that's my Fortnight fabric for this month. And let me see. Oh, the one other thing I think I'll show, and then I'm going to move on to my plans. And I'll show you more next week. No, I'm going to show you two things, actually. Because this other thing I need to show because I appreciate this friend. I'm good friends with Handwork Maniac Brenda. If she's watching this, Brenda, thank you so much for this gift for my birthday. I'm into hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are the bob and lace mascot. I love them. And she got me this needle minder, this cute needle minder for my birthday. So thank you, Brenda. And then the last thing is, some of you asked me in the comments about the magnets that I used for, actually, Maleficent has them on her. These silicone magnets to hold up my extra fabric. So I got them at Amazon. They're called Smart and Cool Magnetic Silicone Tips. They come in a package of 25. There's the name. Smart and Cool Magnetic Silicone Tips. Is that what it is? Ties, sorry. The package of 20, as you can see, are all different colors. And it's like pairs of that one color. So when you put them on, like the orange ones there from Maleficent, are both the same color. I like them better than the silicone circles. The ones that I used several months ago. I mean, that I've used for several months, and a lot of you have seen them too. These work better for me because they clip and hold tight. And they hold the fabric up tight because they're magnetic. And every now and again, when my needle slips off, if my needle slips off my needle minder, it'll catch right on those magnets too. So you can use it as a needle minder if you don't want to have a needle minder on your piece. So they have a double help. They seem to hold my fabric much better than the circular silicone bobbin holders that people used for quilting, and then we kind of moved them over to stitching. So anyway, that's what those are on Amazon. So I'll go on to some of my others. next week, hopefully when I do another video. Okay, on to my plans. I plan on working on the Gift of Peace, the Christmas new piece that I just started. It's going to be for a prompt anyway, and I also want to do it for a daily 30. Even though in daily 30 we aren't really doing any of those right now due to the tags prompts that they're working on this month. But I wanted to just do it as a half-hour to hour piece every day since it's Christmas, coming up to Christmas. It helps me be in the spirit. So, but it also works for a prompt too. So I'm going to try to do a couple hundred stitches at least in it, for the fact that we have to do something that is in red. Now there is some red in this friendship piece, the Christmas piece. So I have to decide what I'm going to do since I started on those letters, because it has to be red that I'm stitching. So I'm either going to move over to the red in the tree there and just count and put the red in the right spots. Or I might move up, count up, or I might do like a letter or so if I have enough time. And then I'll be able to count more perfectly up to the border. And if I get to the border, that'll be an easy 200 stitches. Easy to fill my, well actually 150 is what I'm doing to fill my prompts. I used to do the 250 ones, the highest, but I've had limited amount of time and other things going on. So I just put the lower 150 for now. But that's my plan, either doing the tree or going up to the border. They're both red, and it has to be something stitched in red for the prompt. Another thing I'm going to do, I pulled out, let me see if I can find it in all my mess here. Here it is. This has been in Stitchy Prison for a long time, and we are supposed to, for a prompt, pick up something that was in Stitchy Dungeon piece, which to me is like in Stitchy Prison. And it isn't because I don't like this piece. I really do like it. I like it a lot. But two things have made me just roll my eyes when I look at it again. One of them you're going to just automatically assume, and it is sort of true, but one of them is the fact that it's a dark blue fabric. But that's not really, this is called Victorian Charm, by the way. I should have told you what it is. And this is what it looks like. Sorry about that. It's a dimensions kit, so it came with the fabric and the threads. Beautiful, beautiful piece of a house with the cats in the window and during the nighttime. So, but it is Ada, and it's really not that hard to stitch on. Just I get tired of it after a while. So probably some of the reason why I haven't stitched on it, and it's in Stitchy Dungeon or Prison, is because of the dark color. But I think the major reason why it isn't really the dark color. It's the fact I started in the middle because, again, having kitted fabric, I wanted to make sure I had enough. And this middle part is just so darn boring to me right here. So boring. So I need to move myself up to something that I'm enjoying more. Either that or maybe I don't like houses stitching. I don't know. Because where I started was right in there. So, and all of this stuff is just getting to me. I just want to move on to something else. And so, anyway, that's why it's been in Stitchy Prison too. So, my plan is I'm going to work on it, at least my 150 stitches for the prompt, and maybe get a little more done on it. So that's another piece I'll be working on this week. Again, I'll be working on Mayflower all during the week, every single day, but I did fit it into a prompt, and the prompt was something that was going to be on Belle's dinner table, and something that they would eat. And man, I know I would have chicken and pork on my fancy dinner table, so I like meat. So anyway, that's what I put down for the prompt. So along with stitching on Mayflower all week to get a lot of stitches in, I'm also using it for one of the prompts for enchanted stitching. And then the last is, last prompt was things in the castle that could sing or dance. I'm not sure on this yet, but I'm thinking that I may go towards my full coverage, African Woman with Peonies. But I have to wait for a question to be answered from one of the administrators to see if I can do that. If not, I might have to change the prompt. So mostly I'll be concentrating on Mayflower during the week. That's really important to me. I don't know if I can, but I would like to finish it by the end of the year, or at least have it almost all finished. I'm also going to concentrate every day on the Gift of Peace and work my full coverage in Victorian shore. So that's the plans for this week. And if all goes well, I will get back to you in about a week's time. I'm hoping, or a little over a week. We'll see how that works. And that has to go into my life updates. Some of you are aware that we had a death in the family last Thursday. My brother-in-law, he was in an accident and he died. And this has just been a shock to me. And I'm just having a hard time dealing with it. And it's really hard for me too, because my sister is far away from me. And, I've talked to her every day since then, but it's just not the same as being right there with her. And that's it's just been really, really hard. He was just driving close by their house, fairly close by. It was probably about 10 miles away. She lives in the hills. Not sure exactly of all the details, but somebody either lost control or was doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. Who knows? We won't know until the investigation is over with, and that's just preliminary. But they drifted and tried to get back in the lane and ran head on into Kenny, and he couldn't get out of the way because Allison told me that it was right at like a place where it was like a bridge or near a bridge, and there was just no way that he could move out of the way. And they said he was killed instantly. The other people in the other car, the driver's still alive. I don't know in what condition. And he had a passenger, and the passenger died too. So, and just, I don't know, I'm sorry, I can't wrap my head around it. It's just so hard. She's hoping that with the investigation that they'll be able to have the funeral on Saturday. So I'm going to have to see how my stitching goes this week. The stitching has been my help during this time, because since I want to be with her, I can sit down and I can stitch and just concentrate on putting the stitches in and not think about it so much. So I have been keeping up on my stitching, and so I'm going to continue doing that when I can. She hopes to have the funeral, if everything goes well, on this coming Saturday. If not, if the coroner hasn't released the body, then it'll be early next week. I will be down there. My husband and I are going down, and I believe my children are going down too. They've been talking about it because they love their uncle. And they want to support their aunt. So, according to the mortuary that my sister is having the funeral at, they will allow 30 people distanced with masks and things for the funeral. It's Riverside County, so it's a little different than Los Angeles, which is on complete lockdown. So we're grateful for that. And then after she has her family with her now, her grown-up children and their wives or significant others, as well as her mother-in-law, Kenny's mom. So they will be with her probably all the way through Christmas and New Year's. And we talked yesterday specifically about the fact that I'm going to go back and probably at the end of January, middle of January, and I'm going to spend some time with her. Because by that time, her kids will have to go back to work, and her mom has cancer treatments and has to be back where she's living. And even though she's got a lot of good friends, I want to be there with her. So I'm going to spend a lot of time with her then. Anyway, just hold those people you love close. You never know. We had the sudden deaths of our parents almost 20 years ago, and And so another sudden death is just difficult. And not that lingering death with cancer is any easier. It's not any easier. I think the only thing easier about it is that you can say goodbye more times, maybe, and spend more time with the person. That probably is the only thing that makes it easier, because I don't know, but it must be really, really difficult for somebody with that. So anyway, sorry. It's been a hard last few days. But I wanted to get on and show you what I did, especially my finish objects. Was really excited about that. Love you guys a lot. And so I'm gonna end my video now and tell you that I could pull out my pull out my gratitude journal, my book, and tell you, but I think, again, I'm just going to say, just remember to appreciate people in your life, and just always tell them that you love them and care for them. So love you guys a lot, and I'll talk to you again hopefully in another week to week and a half, if all goes well. So anyway, you take care. Bye bye.